say you're playing today and you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is toe-stepping the sideline.
Hit every single time. I would not mind serving this to my friends.
Unless they were former Packers, right?
Well, I don't have friends that are former Packers. That's what I love about this show. Not only do I taste fantastic juice, I learned something.
A big thank you to our sponsors for making this show possible.
Welcome back to the Fred Minnick Show, presented by Baxis. Hey, if you're like me and you're tired of going to a liquor store and not finding a bottle that you want and then getting online and seeing that it's far too expensive for your budget, I got a place for you, Baxis. Go to baxis.co for transparent pricing where you can see the sales history in real time. It's a marketplace for spirits, collector to collector. You got actual collectors like me and you buying, selling, trading, and storing their spirits. Go to baxis.co, use Fred25 at checkout for $25 off your first purchase. And now, please welcome with me NFL icon, should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Jared Allen. Welcome back to the Fred Minnick Show, presented by Baxis. Returning guest Jared Allen with me today. We've been talking a lot off camera, most of which, thank God, was not recording because we could not use it. We might both get canceled. But, man, it's so good to see you.
Pleasure's all mine, buddy.
First thing I got to say is thank you for these boots.
They look good on you, too.
You know, I just got these shined.
Yeah.
And so for those who missed that episode, go back and check out. You've been on the show twice now. This is your third time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So the last time you were on, you were wearing some smoking hot ostrich boots. And I was like, oh my God, I love those boots. And the next thing I know, I have a package in the mail.
Absolutely.
From Jared Allen.
I'm like Santa Claus sometimes.
You
know?
were. You could be. I don't know. You're losing too much weight.
Yeah, like a skinny Santa Claus.
What's up with this? You're like, you're supposed to be this.
Well, they say muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
So I just got rid of the muscle. So I'm like, I'll just quit lifting weights and then, just rock that, skinny fat type phase. And
I mean, you don't even have a dad bod. I don't know what's
I
going on.
stay really
here.
active. I'm about like 230-ish right now, 233. I just try to stay active, chasing kids, the horses, the yard. I'm like a do it all myself type of guy.
How does your family react to civilian Jared Allen versus the quarterback eating Jared?
Yeah, my kids don't know anything other. Like when we go to Minnesota, we were in London for the Ring of Honor over there, and they're just like looking at me like, this is just dad. Like, why does everybody want to talk to dad? So it kind of freaks them out sometimes. They're getting, as they get older, they get a little bit more used to it. But yeah, I mean, they know me as like softball coach. Take your homework, pick up your crap. That dad. So yeah, they don't
see violent Jared.
No, like they'll watch them sometimes. They'll watch some old. There was like an old game I think a couple years ago. My youngest daughter wanted to watch the whole thing, and they ask a bunch of questions. But now it's more like, do you know him? Do you know him? So when we were over the game in London, they wanted to meet every single Vikings player afterwards. So I stood there like a fan, and it's like, hey, will you guys sign my kids' autographs? And then my kids were asking people to sign their autographs, coaches, everybody. So yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So we have 5 flights here, and I got a surprise for you coming up.
That's why I love this show. It's like Christmas early.
Last time, I brought you, I think it was an 85-year-old Scotch. I don't have that this time.
Yeah.
We're all American this time.
I went and looked that up too, by the way. I was like, I'm going to buy some of this. And then I was like, I'm going to have to mortgage my house to buy some of this.
That's saying something too, because you made a few pennies in the NFL.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like $250,000 for a little taster.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm going to want at least a couple glasses of this. I was like, hey, babe, I'm going to drop $1 million on some bourbon or some scotch. You cool with that? And she thought about divorcing me. I did not ask that question. That was obviously a dumb question.
When it comes to matters of buying whiskey, you do not ask your spouse.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. Don't ask your spouse.
Yeah.
So,
and then dip into your kid's college fund as much as possible.
That's right. Or, start a new credit card. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to what I consider like an everyday pour. This is Michter's American whiskey. It's their blend. It's around $40. It's an everyday pour. A lot of people love this one. It's a good introduction to American whiskey for a lot of folks. but also, and let's be honest, you know, when you taste it, it's not going to be overpowering. And when we get into that, when you get to tasting a lot, sometimes you just want a drink that you can just drink.
Yeah.
Don't think about. This is in that league. Oh, it's very buttery. Very buttery.
I don't know the right description, but I guess it doesn't matter because I'm going to use a descriptive word. See, like those things like this, they taste thin, right? I feel like there's not enough viscosity. Would that be?
Okay.
Would that be? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
So is this like a third string quarterback?
yeah. I wouldn't say third string because they don't really exist. They don't really even have names. I don't think they're usually active on the roster, third string quarterbacks.
They got emergencies now.
Yeah.
They're like sitting in the stands.
Yeah. I think we were allowed to dress 46 on game day, and they were like the freebie spot. No, I could see this. I think I've just become accustomed to a higher proof.
Yeah.
And so lower proof whiskeys feel watered down to me with hints that we're thin.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it smells great. It smells very whiskey-y, you know.
When you look at the NFL today versus yesterday, how much of a difference is there from your position? Because it feels astronomical.
So from my specific position, one of the main changes is that they've kind of used a hybrid person now, right? So the days of having a four-down lineman like myself that's going to play run, pass every situation, those seem to be a little more rare. You got Myles Garrett. I guess Watt and those guys, they did it. I watched the game the other night, and the biggest thing though I'm seeing a lot of times, a lot of the best pass rushers are now trying to rush from the left side because they want to go against technically the weakest tackle. You know,
Right tackle.
Where for me, it was always good on good. Your best versus, if you want to be the best, you got to go against the best every day. So we played the right side, you go against the left tackle. But, from a pass rushing standpoint, not much has changed. I mean, you still have to be violent with your hands. You still have to get off the ball. Like, there's some fundamentals that you can't get away with or get away from. But the biggest change is just kind of in the way the offenses are presenting themselves. And I think you're getting a lot different looks. So I think you're seeing a more athletic hybrid type person in that position with some of these 3-4, 4-3 hybrid defenses, because now you have more athletic quarterbacks. You have different, like I said, you have different sets where they're able to use these end guys in the line of scrimmage in multiple ways versus when we played, we were true defensive linemen and we were going forward.
All right, so let's say you're playing today and you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oof.
Patrick Mahomes is toe stepping the sideline.
Hit him.
Are you hitting him?
Every single time. Because the one time you don't, he won't go out of bounds and you'll look like a complete jackass. So 100% hitting him every single time.
But what about the flag? What about?
Part of it. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's blatant, if it's close, it's close. And if I'm a coach, I'm allowing my guys, not everybody, I'm allowing certain guys to dance that line, because at the same time, you want to send a message to them, like, if you screw around, you're going to get hurt. So if you're going to get out of bounds, get out of bounds. None of these cheap extra yards.
You think some of the players today just don't have that killer instinct?
Oh, for sure. I think the league is softer in the essence of the rules they're playing under, and so people just naturally adapt to those rules. And not everybody, but yeah, I mean, there's still a couple guys out there that I think that are willing to go light somebody up. But unfortunately, they put such a hefty fine on some of these things that you can't. And I'm not saying the players are softer, the rules are softer. I mean, you look at what they're doing. You take Chris Jones, for example. I mean, I think the last 3 Chiefs games I've watched, that dude's got sacks called back for tackling someone too hard. Or, you see it every week. There's just these roughing the passers or these illegal contacts, these hits that are illegal that, back in our day, that's how we taught them. I sound like an old guy now. But yeah, so I think the rules have gotten softer. And then through that, guys are going to have to adapt their play because they don't want to be penalized.
When you have quarterbacks coming out saying that their hits against them should not have been roughing the passer, it's bad.
Yeah, what's the point? I think you have to look at intent. Right? I think that's what the NFL is missing right now. What's the intent? Like this whole trying to block a pass and you actually touch the quarterback onto his face mask. Why the heck does he have a helmet on? Why does he have a face mask if you can't accidentally touch it? Now, I'm not saying some guy should go, clothesline him across his neck. I mean, should, but you can't do it. But I mean, so I think you got to look at intent of the foul, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and then you look at another one that's I think is an absolute travesty to the game is illegal contact from the defensive side away from the ball. You know, it's an automatic first down, 5-yard penalty. Why is it an automatic first down on something that has no bearing on the play? So I really do think the NFL should look at intent, how it impacts the play, and make judgment calls based on that.
Well, I got to tell you, I miss watching you play.
Oh. Yeah,
I miss watching you play.
I came in at a good time. It was like that, you know, still old school mentality, Marty ball power, and then we kind of shifted into trying to take it a little easier on us. But it was a fun run. I think I got the best of both worlds.
So this next taste is meant to be like, you know, you have a friend over, special occasion, or dinner, like a monthly kind of like get together. We're going up in proof for you, so.
Okay.
For that need of yours to have more alcohol, this is.
I probably misstated that too.
I mean, that's okay.
What makes it feel thicker on your tongue versus thinner on your tongue?
I would say proof has a lot to do with it, but there's other aspects. Like there could be like grain oils left over from like distillation, could be some particular wood sugars that carried through in the barrel, but it's product to product. This is a Woodinville Sauternes finish. Okay. So this is made in the state of Washington and finished in a Sauternes barrel, which is like a sweet wine.
Okay.
And it is 105 proof.
Okay. And what was the proof on this last one?
That was like 86.
Okay. Very corn forward.
You're getting corn in that?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are you getting? So I'm obviously wrong.
No, there's no wrong answer.
I know. When I first hit it, I just kind of got that, that shocky of corn.
Wow. This is like a cherry limeade for me.
Really? See, I'm not getting heavy sweet at all.
It's like a Sonic cherry limeade.
See, I don't need Sonic. So
well,
I wouldn't know.
I've had Sonic because my boy likes to have it after wrestling. That's like one of his treats. I don't like Sonic. I find that their burgers look like
fake food.
They look like fake food, but it looks worse than that. Like
yeah, because it is worse than that. It's fake food.
It looks.
Don't get me going on big food now, Fred.
Let's do it.
Let's get down the rabbit hole.
Seriously, like you get a package of Doritos, and there's like 17,000 ingredients, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's not even real food. And last time I checked, to make a corn chip, you really only need like corn, bake it.
I mean,
that's why I love whiskey. It's very simple. The ingredients are very minimal.
Well, in most categories, yeah. You got to watch out in some other categories, though. Where do you feel this one on your tongue?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably more middle.
Okay. You still getting corn?
I am. Yeah, I don't think the flavor hasn't changed. It's not as pungent as that first one.
So if the first one is a third string quarterback, are we at least looking second string here now?
Yeah, see, I would look at this and be like, okay, I could do this on an everyday.
Okay. But it's also like, this one can start a game or two.
Yeah, for sure. I would not mind serving this to my friends that knew something about whiskey, right?
Unless they were former Packers, right?
Well, I don't have friends that are former Packer fans.
Do you watch the Vikings religiously? Do you pay attention to them a lot?
You know what? This year I probably watched more games this year than I have in the past handful of years combined. I don't watch much football. I don't really have time. For me to sit down for 3 hours and just veg out is very rare. You got crap to do. So yeah, I don't watch them that much, but I keep up on them. I do. That's probably the one organization I keep up with, just because I got so many friends in the front office still and in the building. I'll be honest. I did not see this coming. I'm glad I do because I think Kwesi is awesome. I think Coach McConnell is awesome. I got to meet Coach Flores for just a few minutes when I was in London, and just talking to him briefly and seeing his energy, and like you can just tell like that passion, that energy is there. And then seeing these guys kind of just full on buy in, and everybody kind of thought they were out. I think I was one of the few people that thought JJ McCarthy being sat, his injury was actually going to be a good thing, because you take away any potential quarterback controversy, you allow him to grow. Sam Darnold obviously has a talent. You don't draft someone that high that's not talented, especially in the NFL. They do their due diligence, right? So he just hasn't been put in the right. He hasn't been put with the right pieces to teach him how to actually be a winning pro quarterback. And I think Kevin's done that. And so now you kind of take the pressure off him. And now expectations are through the roof because you realize you kind of got a good team.
Honestly, dude, it breaks my heart that we're talking right now, and I can't say you're a Hall of Famer. It breaks my fucking heart.
I gotta be honest. I thought I'd have been in 3 years ago. 2 years ago, it was like, this is it. Last year was like, gotta be it. So it didn't. So lucky for me, I try not to worry about things I have no control over. But you know what I'm pissed about? I didn't get to go drink whiskey with you at the Super Bowl.
That is true.
They ruined it for me. So now I'm like, don't even talk to me. If I'm not in,
but
you're
invited back for the next one.
Of course. Well, hopefully I'm on the permanent list,
Yeah, you're always on that list. So this next one we're going to go to is, look, I know you are playing around in whiskey a little bit, and you bought some MGP barrels, but a lot of people just know Indiana, or MGP for Indiana.
Yep.
But the truth is there's a lot of great distillers in Indiana. This is a distillery in Brown County called Hard Truth.
Okay.
And they make a sweet mash wheated bourbon. This is bottled and bond. So bottled and bond is our country's very first Consumer Protection Legislation Act for food. Yep. Goes all the way back to 1897. And this is a little piece of history right here.
I love it. That's what I love about this show. Not only did I taste fantastic juice, I learned something. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, this is special occasion kind of deal.
Yeah.
Nice restaurant.
So I have some friends here in Nashville, some songwriters, singers, all that good stuff, good buddies of mine. Halfway to Hazard was the group name, and they have a song that, in the song it says, "Life's too short to drink cheap wine."
Yeah.
So I take that philosophy with everything.
Yeah.
Life's too short. So this might be an everydayer in my house just because it's delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It might actually be available to be an everyday.
I don't know what it costs, but if it's $10,000 a bottle, it's definitely not an everydayer.
No, it's going to be in that more the $60 range, I think.
Oh, that's fantastic for $60.
It does smell great.
That is good. You know what I got? To me, I always want to take multiple sips. Maybe your palate's different. Obviously, your palate's way better than mine. But for me, the first one's always. If I have it on the rocks or something like that, then like some will open up right away. The first one, but the first one, neat, especially. You got to work through the process, right? So it's that second one you kind of get that full rounded out balance of flavors. That one just kind of off the bat.
I know a whiskey within one sip, but
Yeah.
to be laser focused and really nail it down. The first sip, I just focus on what part of the tongue I feel it.
Okay.
And then I taste again to find out what flavor might pop up if I really focus on that part of the tongue. And then the last one is an all-encompassing tongue focus, and to see how long it lasts on the tongue.
Yeah.
And if I really like it, I'll keep kind of going back to it.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
All glassware for the Fred Minnick Show was given to us by Visky, including the cocktail glasses and the tasting glasses. You can get your own. Go to visky.com. That's VISKI.com. Enter Fred20. That's Fred20 at checkout to get 20% off of your Visky glass. Cheers.
So, you've heard of barrel picks, right?
Yep.
So that's where we go into a warehouse and we pick a barrel, and that barrel's bottled exclusively for us. This is one that is on my sponsors. This is the fourth one here.
Yep.
Right here. So this is on Baxis, which is this incredible marketplace for going and buying rare shit.
Okay.
And they've got this barrel pick here, and then you can go there and you can find all kinds of old rare gems. Like I bought.
Augustus there. Old Route 8.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So there's only 155 bottles.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers. So the malt and barley's at 9%. Is that rare? Because most are like at a 4 or 5%.
Actually,
Do you see that a lot higher?
Nine's fine.
9 is?
Some will be up to 12.
Really? Okay. I
Yeah.
haven't seen that. I've always seen them around that 4 to 5% range.
The more traditional recipe would be something like rye would be 10 or 12, or barley would be 10 or 12, and the rest would be corn.
Okay.
And And
I'm
barley.
I'm a sucker for a high rye bourbon too.
Oh, you are?
Oh, I really am. This is really really good.
Smells great. But so yeah, anybody like watching this right now, these bottles are available on Baxis until they're not. So go to baxis.co.
Yeah, that's good.
Holy shit! That's my first time tasting it.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh my God, applewood. You get a lot of apple in this.
I'm not that refined. Here's my palate works not like this. Not good. Yeah, it's pretty darn good. I have a 3-stage palate that I work with. A lot of you guys probably get that. I'm gonna leave the more detailed, to you, but
Listen, I know you've been tinkering around with your own brand.
yes.
So
yes.
you've had to come up with a little bit of something.
So where do you get that on your tongue?
All over.
Yeah.
But most intense on the tip of my tongue, where
Okay.
I get a lot of brown sugar, a lot of apple.
Maybe I got to taste it because I got it right towards
Yeah.
the back of my palate, back of my tongue.
Well, we're all different palate-wise. Like our tongue, just like we're athletically different, our tongues react of how we feel things differently. So I get sweetness on the tip of my tongue, savory in the middle,
Okay.
bitterness on the sides, and that little line between the middle and the back, and then spice all the way in the back. And this is populating everything, but most intensely tip of my tongue, and that is 100% like a brown sugar note. I really like this.
I do too. See, I don't get overly sweet. That's like really, really sweet. I can't really do. This just has a consistency like over everything. See, what I get at the back end is that corn on the back end for me, or what I'm calling corn. That's when I got like real heavy on the front end of the second one. But this is smooth and subtle. I think everything kind of just goes.
Yeah, we kind of just want to, have a special occasion with this one and call it a day. Like, this is campfire sipping after a
100%.
hunt for you.
Yep.
Or maybe after you made the Olympics for curling.
We'll get that. They're making it hard. They are making it hard.
Really?
Now they're only taking 4 teams at the trials. I'm actually not even curling this year. Well, I might. I talked to my buddy, one of my old teammates. We might do some stuff later in the year. One of my teammates retired. Yeah, I was going to be. I got asked to be an alternate on dropping this team, but then USOPC kind of kiboshed that. So, just trying to figure the curling landscape out. But you know what? The good thing about curling is, it's like wine. You just get better with age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Schuster's he's my age, and he's still going strong.
I think
so
that's
I figure we got
where
to recycle him.
I think you might need to start eating some of those unhealthy foods to match the fine physical physique of these wonderful curlers that we see around the world.
They are. I thought that now they're starting to take it like Ben Heber. He's probably one of the best sweepers in the world, if not the best. I mean, that dude's he's jacked. So, I got to. But that's still on there. I've never welched on a bet yet. I mean, I'm gonna give it all. I'm gonna give it the old college try.
I love it. Are you doing any other kind of activities?
Yeah. So I've always roped. So I have horses. So I'm trying to rope more. Again, kid stuff, football stuff. I actually own a company. I'm involved in a company. We own the Grand Slams of curling. It's like the 4 majors of golf, right? But there's 5 events. So we own the Grand Slams of curling. So I've been doing, a lot of stuff with that. But other than that, still my foundation, building houses for wounded vets. We just gave one away in Denver, so that was awesome. We just acquired some more land in Pennsylvania, so we'll start breaking ground up there. So we got about 6 houses right now we're building.
The last time we were talking, we kind of talked a little bit about jiu-jitsu. You played around with that a little bit. Are you getting into that again?
I did. No, nothing like I was.
Yeah.
Goodness, I'm not in the gym hardly at all anymore. But I still love MMA. I love watching it. I still got my big heavy bag and my Muay Thai pads and all that stuff to get after it upstairs. But I haven't done jiu-jitsu in quite a while. I think it would be fun to roll again, for sure. Jiu-jitsu is one of those cool. It's like those. It's a very passive-aggressive sport. You know. I learned that the hard way when I was no joke. My trainer was like 190 pounds, and I was like, I'll just muscle my way through this. Mm-hmm. I got choked unconscious like every time. I refused to tap.
You really got choked unconscious?
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm not tapping. I'm not letting 190 pounds go. Oh.
Wow.
Zonked. Like, What happened? What happened?
That's why we tap.
Yep, that's why we tap. I just had to make sure I could get to it, see what it was about. But no, I think jiu-jitsu is a fantastic sport. You know, that's what I love. I love fighting. I love mixed martial arts because it really is a talent. When you break down, when you separate the violence out of it, the raw violence of it, it's such an art form.
You know, and having done it now for 2 years, it's like sometimes it's like all you think about.
Are you gonna go out and challenge Zuck?
I'm a little heavier for him. He's
You get like an open class.
there could be that. Like I'd roll with Zuck.
Yeah.
I'd roll with him.
Come on, Zuck. I don't know where you're at. What camera I'm looking into?
Yeah.
You guys could chop it up over whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then
get the mat out. So one of my last jiu-jitsu coaches, I used to train with Bader and those guys down in Arizona, Ryan Bader and Mauricio was his name. I can't remember his last name. I mean, might have been 150 pounds, right? He was a black belt and Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. We were working escapes like body triangles and escaping, rear naked chokes and stuff like that, and then working rear naked chokes and body triangles, and always roll the ankle, but he would throw it opposite. So he would body triangle you, right, knowing you were going to roll the ankle, and then have his choke set up so you'd have to roll into the choke. Where everybody typically, it's like you roll the ankle, everybody's switching back and forth, right? You're kind of opposite of what your body triangle is. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, yeah, if you're going to roll this way, I'll just reverse my choke on you and set it up that way.
Got it all set up for you right here. Come on in.
Slept.
Yeah, it's
Martial arts is great. That's
it is.
Dude. With martial arts, you got. I think at some point, that's why I love MMA, right? Because you're actually taking multiple disciplines and you're putting it into an actual full combat zone.
Yeah.
Which if it was in the street, people take martial arts to defend themselves, right? If you're in a situation, how do you know if you can defend yourself if you're only breaking boards?
It's the
right?
closest thing to it.
Yeah, you got to. So that's why I love.
Do you follow the Instagram account McDojo Life?
I do not know.
This will be the reason why you get on Instagram every single day. He's a guy that goes around and finds these fake martial art gyms around the world. He gets videos of them, and they come in and they're playing around with chi, and they fall over, and it's so funny.
Oh, I love it.
You gotta.
I love it. I love it when you get someone coming into the gym that wants to fight like a professional and they get knocked out. That's what I love seeing. I'm like, yes, when guys get floored like that.
We had someone like
or
that
the
at
old
my
gym
gym.
fights.
We had someone like that, but he wasn't claiming to be like a fighter. He was claiming to be like a renowned wrestler.
Oh,
and he ended up throwing up in after one round, and he got submitted.
They say fatigue will make a coward out of anybody.
Yeah.
Dude, well, you read about the old Brazilian gym wars. I mean, they would go in and have these Vale Tudo battles that would last hour. A fight might last hours, and you couldn't quit till it was.
Yeah, the Brazilians were just bred differently.
Yes, 100%.
All right, so this next one that we have is a pretty special one, and the whiskey geeks at home are gonna lose their shit.
Yes, that's how I know I'm on the Fred Minnick Show. When a redneck like me gets to drink good stuff.
This is the very first bottling of Stagg Jr. So this is.
I'm not even gonna lie.
This is gonna be that high proof you like.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I'm worthy enough to drink this.
Oh, it smells good. Like a butter.
Oh, man.
Like buttercream pie.
The fact that you can have a high proof that doesn't just singe you is just.
Yeah. Now, if you put a match in this, it would blow up.
Yeah.
But this is better for you than Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola's hot trash. Unless you're sponsored by Coca-Cola, then I'll take that back.
I'm not. And I would never be. Unless they would like to come on to the Fred Minnick Show, in which case, fuck you. I wouldn't do Coca-Cola.
That is freaking good.
Oh my God.
That's the tasting notes for this one. Freaking good.
Oh my God. I haven't had this in 10 years.
Just gonna have a moment of silence for the rest of these.
Yeah.
Because they are dead to me now. They are dead to me, Fred.
Oh my God, this is so good.
I can't stop smelling it.
Yeah, this is one too where if I keep tasting it, I'm going to keep tasting it, and I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm done for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Cancel all my appointments. I'm just drinking this.
Oh, and see, this is now I see what you're saying. Like that last week, you said it got you everywhere. Like that's
Yeah.
it's just flavor bomb.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, you get the sweet, you get the corn, you get the wood. I mean, you name it. You throw a typical. You get. You know what? By the way, what's your least favorite term? I've always wanted to ask you this question.
In whiskey?
That whiskey people say, like, or that people will say, a description word to describe whiskey.
My least favorite term. Probably, and I'm not anti this term. I just think it's so unique to the individual that, and it's also lazy. It's smooth.
It's smooth. Okay.
Yeah, I find the term lazy. I find the word smooth to be incredibly lazy, just to describe something that you think is good.
Or hot. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's hot.
Oh yeah, that'd
Spicy.
be the opposite.
Spicy, yeah.
Yeah.
When people go down the rabbit hole and try to, when they use the word marzipan, I'm just like,
Yeah, it's my word.
is it? You like marzipan?
I'm the one who started marzipan.
Why not just call it almond extract, Fred?
Well, because I was in France and this lady in a bakery gave me a little sliver of marzipan, and that sure in the shit wasn't almond extract. I'll tell you that.
So what's the difference between marzipan and almond extract? See, now I'm at the root source.
Yeah, I'm the one. So,
All right, educate me now, because I can't dislike you, because you're my guy.
well, you
So
know,
now I got to understand why we're talking marzipan versus almond extract.
So my whiskey club is even called Club Marzipan, to make fun of the fact that I named it marzipan. And by the way, when I use the word marzipan in my tasting notes,
Yes.
I had like all these fucking Reddit posts and Facebook posts and like podcasters like, what the fuck is marzipan? And like, who is this guy? And so I was like, I'm like, yeah, you know, good point.
Isn't I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Isn't marzipan just the paste form of almond extract?
Well, you gotta have a proper honey in there.
Ah, see,
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So it's you add some nice honey, and voila, you've got.
Marzipan.
But if you get marzipan,
different.
if you get marzipan in a shit bakery, it's not going to move the needle for you. You get it in France, a nice little donut filling or some kind of filling of marzipan, it'll change your life. The hard candies they make, not a big fan. But if you get the proper pastry with a marzipan filling, it will change your life.
So I'll take this back before, and the reason that it bugged me, because before I even met you, right, I started getting into whiskey.
Yeah.
I would ask people, like, people would constantly use the frickin' word marzipan, and I was like, I don't know what the hell is marzipan. This is like what? I'm making crap up, right? So then, like, I Googled it, and it said almond extract. So I was like, why not just say almonds? Like, it tastes like almonds. But now you've just educated me on what the difference between almond extract and marzipan is. So I apologize.
No, you should not apologize. And,
Sorry, I'm not sorry, Fred.
And also, I can understand why people think that a lot of tasting notes are just made up and people are full of shit who do them.
I had a no joke, and I'm probably gonna hurt the guy's feelings. Well, I don't know his name, and I really don't know him, so I'm not really worried about hurting his feelings. I was doing a tasting with Jim Beam, right? I vaguely got introduced to one of their marketing guys at Jim Beam, and he asked if I wanted to do a tasting, and I was like, well, hell yeah, because I know Jim Beam has some pretty incredible stuff outside of their standard stuff, right? So I called two of my partner in the whiskey business, my other buddy out here. I called him like, hey, dude, Beam wants to do a private tasting. I figured they're gonna send us some, bookers, and we're gonna get a little book. We're gonna get weird, right? They sent white label, black label, and double oaked.
Oh boy!
And I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me! And then like a lemon, and like they wanted me to make a mixed cocktail, and I was just like, this is a freaking waste of my time. But I already agreed to it.
Was this through social media?
My publicist reached out to me as we do it, so we hopped on a Zoom, right? So I had everybody on a Zoom, and like we're ready for it. They got everybody. They sent everybody the stuff, right? They sent out the bottles. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like legit private tasting. And they had one of their renowned tasters or whatever, their connoisseurs down in Texas. And no joke, we get into the double oak, right? And first of all, it's like, it's Jim Beam, right? It's just, and I like Jim Beam products. And so I'm already like, all right, well, this is a much more advanced group that I kind of put together, thinking we were going to get adventurous, even maybe some old tub. Let's go down the rabbit hole. But we didn't. We did white, black, double oak, and this dude had the audacity to say that he tasted pecan husks on the double oak. He said the word pecan husk. I started laughing, and I was like, hold up, we're done. Hold up, stop. I was like, you are so full of crap. I was like, when was the last time you ate a pecan husk? When have you sucked on a frickin' pecan husk to tell me this tastes like a pecan husk over a pecan? Of course he said he has, but yes, that is probably my biggest pet peeve on some people when they go down the road of tasting notes. They try to, and wine people are the worst, right? And they go into these elaborate schemes that they don't have the background to back it up. And so yeah, that's why I've always vowed to not pretend I'm above what I am.
Fair. Yeah.
Back to my original comment. Yeah. I'm like,
that's the defensive end way.
Yeah, that's hella good.
Yeah. So I will tell you that the marzipan thing was a really interesting educational moment for me, because I was like,
as it has been for me right now as well.
Absolutely. But I learned that not only would I have to like create tasting notes, I have to defend them. And
yeah.
I'm like, hey, come at me, man. I don't got anything to hide. And I also am very much tapping into my memories over time. The whole reason why I even am able to tap into my palate is because of my technique that I learned through therapy, post PTSD from the Iraq War, with taste mindfulness. I mean, I have a catalog in my head of things I've had.
Yeah.
And I grew up, by the way, the pecan husk thing, you very rarely see that in my tasting notes. I actually grew up with a pecan tree behind my house. Love that tree.
I planted two.
And I told my mom and dad, I said, if you ever move, please give me an opportunity to buy the house just so I can have that tree. Yeah. Because that tree's still there. It's been struck by lightning. It's still standing. It's still dropping pecans.
Oh, that's
and it's
awesome.
Like, that was my life, playing around that thing. And I did. And it's like, that is a very different note than a pecan. But anyway,
I wouldn't know. I've never had a pecan husk.
My point is that you have to be, if you put something out there, you have to be prepared to back it up. Just like if you get a contract in the NFL.
Yeah, you got to back it up.
Herman Edwards used to always say, they're the same guy. You paid him now, but he's the same guy. And some people fall apart after they get paid.
Absolutely. Well, we used to talk about that. What's your motivation, right? If you're motivated by money, once you get your money, you're going to fall apart. If you're motivated by greatness, then you're going to continue to strive to prove people that you deserve it, right?
Yeah.
You never rest on your laurels. It seems like you brought up a good point about, a lot of your tasting notes come from memories, and that's we talk about our brand that we're creating, and we don't want it to just be a whiskey brand. We want it to be a lifestyle brand. Last time we talked, you brought up the difference between drinkers and tasters, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You might drink more often, but you drink less, right? Because you're tasting, you're enjoying it, you're actually experiencing what's being captured in the bottle versus someone that's just out at the bar ordering shots of Jameson, trying to get loose. It makes a lot of sense. So that's kind of what we're trying to create too. It's like when you sit down to drink, I want to celebrate a memory, right? I want to talk memories with you. I want to talk, remember this time we did this? So it would make sense that if you can relate flavor profiles to memories, then you're going to have a much better experience with your juice.
1,000%. And I have a memory I'm ready to share with you. You ready?
Yes.
It's in the form of a glass.
Oh.
I want to find out. I want you to taste this. I'm not tasting it with you. Okay. So you're by yourself on this. But I want to see your reaction to it.
I feel like I need water. I need to cleanse my palate first. Hold on.
Please don't spill it on the floor this time.
I won't.
For those who don't know that inside joke, he spilled a glass of water on the floor next to all kinds of electrical outlets, and he's wearing flip-flops. The man who hunts moose with a bare knife and what have you is wearing flip-flops right now. Honestly, you kind of look like a hippie.
Yeah, I kind of, but honestly, that's kind of like my vibe. I think I'm like.
Are you becoming a hippie?
I've always been slightly hippie. I'm a hardcore cowboy, obviously, just the way I grew up.
Yeah, it's kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah, But I also grew up in California,
True.
So I love the beach just as much. I go to Tahoe. I spend my summers in Lake Tahoe, and I'm kind of granola about my food for sure. Farm to table.
I think that's
about
everybody
that life
right now.
I grow it, hunt it. That's I'm in. I wear grounding shoes, you know, really kind of get the full experience.
You're like Aaron Rodgers without the.
No, I like seeing where I'm going. And here's the deal. I don't need to vomit on myself to know who I am. If vomiting on yourself was going to I would have found myself in college. I did not find myself until later in life. And I didn't have to vomit on myself to do it. Actually, I quit vomiting on myself, and miraculously, I was like, whoa, here I am.
It's amazing what happens
Here
when
I
we
am.
stop vomiting on ourselves.
Oh my gosh. It's euphoric. It's euphoric. This is the exact same experience I had when you gave me that 85-year-old freaking scotch, and then on top of the 65, taking it. This is definitely one of those.
Wow.
This is definitely one of those. I can't forget that.
So
I can't forget it.
you just tasted 162 proof Canadian whiskey.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is another one of those that was exclusively on Baxis. 162 proof would
Oh my gosh.
knock a lot of people out, but you can't taste the proof, can you?
No, it was a flavor bomb in my mouth.
How long have you been a whiskey drinker?
Maybe, let's see, when I go to Chicago, 13, so like 10 years.
Okay, so you're in that veteran status right now.
But then again, like when you gave me that scotch, I would have never known that was a scotch that you gave me.
Oh, really?
No, because I mean, my perception of scotch has always been piney and bitter, or just kind of, or perfumey maybe, is that a better word? And so I wasn't sure that this was like an aged scotch again. Now that you say whiskey, honestly, it makes sense, but the same aspect. I had one expectation of what I was drinking when I knew I was drinking a scotch, and the way that resonated through my mouth, like I said, I was just like, holy goodness, this is like euphoric. I remember,
Yeah,
and this is that same, this immediately, like, it released every sensation in my mouth at once.
This is one of the most sought after in the whiskey geek community. This is one of the most sought after bottles because of the proof point and the age.
Oh my gosh.
So this is 28 years old. 28 years old, 162 proof.
And sweet.
So only 212 bottles, and you know, if anyone wants to try this at home, you can go check it out on Baxis.co
Oh my gosh.
as long as it's there. What's been your favorite?
I mean, do you have to ask right now? My goodness, this is now favorites at all of our testings. I will say you always enlighten me. This is why I love it. Anytime you say you want to be on the show, I answer is yes. Doesn't matter where I'm at. Very first year, right? You introduced me to the McKinnon 10-year.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
which won Whiskey of the Year.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this was great, right? Because I was still young in that journey. I was still like, you know, my buddy was telling me what to buy, and I was buying more of the mainstream type,
Right.
you know, upper echelon bourbons. And then I tried that, and I was like, oh, that's an off-brand that no one really talks about. This is great. So I continued that journey. Then we tasted a lot of great stuff last time up in Louisville, and then you broke out Scotch, and oh my gosh, which that's still my all-time favorite. And you backed it up. We did what? We did like an 85 or 82, and then a 60 something, right?
Yeah. So I think we did. I think it was a 40 or 50-year-old, and then like an 80-year-old.
Yeah, which. And now, you just rocked my world with this. I thought this was like the gold standard, but my goodness,
It's a pretty special bottle.
it's too special.
Yeah.
That's 162 proof, which you could just be like, sleep on the floor. That is insane.
Well, Jared, I'm gonna grab what I think was my favorite glass.
Okay.
I love the Stagg, but I think the Augusta is the one that I gotta choose. I think it might have been the Augusta.
I've never had that release of like all the sensors, all the taste, like just, and so cohesive.
Your endorphins
said,
are blown.
like-
It's like a good sack. Like
Yeah,
you get that perfect
honestly,
hit.
that's what I say. It's like nostalgic, right? Like it takes
Yeah.
you like, how do I know this?
Yeah.
Like how do I know this? And
This
that,
is the dream you have of crushing Patrick Mahomes
Yes.
going out of bounds.
that's what that Scotch did, and that's what this did. They brought back that very similar reaction in my mouth, which was cool. So I want to.
Well, man, It's awesome to have you back. It's great to see you.
I'm gonna cheers with your favorite.
Well, I
Cheers.
didn't get to taste that one, so
Please do.
we only have so much.
That's all you there, bud.
That's making love in my mouth right now.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not just your saliva.
No, that's what I'm saying. 162 proof. It's sterile.
That's beautiful.
No.
Cheers,
no,
brother.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming back
Oh,
on.
thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Man, good seeing you.